Here's your heads up to this little 5-minute quickie. It's a bit insulting to start off with. You don't know what you don't know. And when you don't know what you don't know, there's something very special about that. Have a listen. It'll all make sense in a minute or two. And as usual, if you're new to this, well, it wouldn't be usual again, would it, if you were new to this? But if you are new to this, have a listen to the intro and I'll explain all about this wonderful little niche of Personal Development Unplugged, the 5-minute quickie podcast, and the longer versions. But if you're one of the Cluffy clan, as we call it, no, we don't, do we? The Personal Development Unplugged family, or you're just a regular listener, skedaddle 1.5 minutes and we'll begin. Either way, speak to you in a minute. Hey, this is the FMQ, the 5-minute quickie podcast, which is the 5-minute version of the Unplugged Personal Development podcast. And my name is Paul Clough, and it's here to help you be the person you really are, get you to change. Because if you don't change, nothing in your world will change. You have to be the change you want to see in yourself and others. You know, that's all there is to it. And we're going to do this until we get there. So if you're up for this little adventure of learning how to de-hypnotize yourself with hypnosis, with NLP, with all other kinds of processes, then come on this adventure with me and just learn to shine. There's longer podcasts which help you shine even brighter with more stuff, but this is snippets to get you thinking, to give you little gems. And I really hope that you're going to listen and enjoy every moment. So we get your heart beating in a way that you enjoy that every heartbeat. Okay, so let's go live with passion and have a listen.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, how are you doing? I wanted to tell you something, just between you and I, in this ever-changing world, an ever-changing world of us. You know, we've been talking about we evolve and everything around us evolves. Our reality evolves. And if it evolves around us, it means that we're creating it. But sometimes we don't necessarily think it's possible. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You haven't got a clue. And what I meant to say was, you don't have the knowledge. You don't have enough knowledge to know what's not possible. You don't. You just don't know enough to know if something is not possible. And if you add to that thought, you can't fail if you don't give up, then everything is possible. And this is going to be, it's like a lead into a longer podcast, but I just wanted to get your mind thinking, because it's got my mind thinking when I heard about that. You know, you don't know enough to know things are not possible. Because you see, every success you can see, everything you can see around us, there was naysayers. I love that word, the naysayers. And you see, everyone thought things were not possible. Yet one person did. And guess what? They didn't know enough to know it wasn't possible, so they went out and proved that it was possible. There's a guy called Richard Bandler. He is one of the co-creators of NLP. Brilliant genius, man. A genius in his thoughts and what he does. And he tells a lovely story about when he was learning before he created or co-created neuro-linguistic program. I will say it properly. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. That's the stuff I do. You see, when he was learning to do hypnosis, he began to hypnotize schizophrenics. And he was getting some great results because he was getting into their model of the world. That's what we call it. When you get into someone's model of the world, you get a wonderful bit of rapport, and anything is possible because you understand. You have that compassion, not empathy. You have that compassion and you just understand. It's like, that second position we talk about, going in, looking through the eyes of others, but also hearing through their inner ears, seeing in their inner sights. but just being with them. And he was getting tremendous changes and using hypnosis. And then he read in books, oh, don't bother to try to hypnotize schizophrenics because it can't be done. You see, he didn't have that knowledge. He didn't have the knowledge that it was impossible to do. So he went and did it. And that, to me, is just cracking. I can't think of another word for it. It's just brilliant that you just go ahead and do the things that you want to do. Believe that they're possible and know that you can't fail if you don't give up. I got another personal example of this. This was with my dear old mum. She's not here anymore, but, well, she's not here in this world. She's here with me, but she had an operation once. And when she came out of the operation, she came home, she was talking to me and she said, Paul, a bit embarrassing, but that operation has like severed a few nerves and I'm incontinent now. You know, I don't know when to go to the toilet for a wee. So I said, well, yeah, and? She said, well, I want you to help me. Can you help me with your hypnosis stuff? So I said, okay, well, I think the hypnosis stuff can do stuff. Because if you think about it, we have voices in our heads. We talk to ourselves, don't we? So I didn't see any reason why I couldn't get a voice inside Mum's head to go, hey, Olive. That was her name, funny enough, because you'd be silly calling a different name. But, hey, Olive, it's time to go to the toilet. I couldn't see a problem with that because we talk to ourselves all the time. So we were hypnotizing, and I was getting into this and I was talking to her unconscious mind to say that it would be a wonderful thing to do because obviously she was getting worried and she was getting embarrassed about this. And then I suddenly thought, we have so many different nerves in our body, so many different neural pathways. You know, you create a new, synaptic gaps start firing, you create a new pathway, neurological pathway, they become together and you have a new habit, a new thing, a new behavior. And I thought, well, why not do that? So I spoke to her unconscious mind and said, well, if you can't do the voice, which I know you can, wouldn't it be easier if you just used a different set of nerves? So Mum got the same type of feeling. If you can't use the old ones, create some new ones. Now, I didn't know if that was possible, but I must have felt it a little bit. I didn't have the knowledge to know it was impossible, so we did the work. Because of what I did know was, I was 100% certain that I could get the little voice to go, hey, Olive, time to go to the toilet. So I saw my mum a couple of days after, and I said, how's things going, Mum? She said, yeah, fine, thank you, Paul, thank you. I thought, that's a bit strange, so I said, go to the toilet, how's that little old voice coming in your head? And she looked at me like I was absolutely crackers. She said, what are you talking about? Voices? We don't have voices. That's stupid, you know. I said, no, back going to the toilet. Oh, she said, oh, it's all better now because I now get those feelings and everything's back to normal. So what would it be like before we get into this, this added work of changing ourselves to where we want to be, if you had that type of belief? I haven't got enough knowledge to know that it's not possible. Therefore, it must be possible. And I can't fail if I don't give up. You see, or you could choose other beliefs. Everything's possible. I know Tony Robbins, the he's huge man in America doing personal development, had a belief that there's always a way. And he had a lot of problems in his life. He would lose a fortune at one time, but he just knew there was always a way. And with that belief, he found a way because he went looking for it because he knew it was there. And if you take on that belief from James Corden, I can't fail because I'm never going to give up. I can't fail because if I don't give up, I can't fail. You find these wonderful empowering beliefs. Everything is possible because you don't know enough to know that it's not possible. I just want you to ponder that for a little while because to me, those few little words suddenly broke a massive barrier in my brain. It suddenly dispelled some negative beliefs and feelings that I had that I just know that if I just carry on, everything is possible. And it's what I choose to believe and it's what I choose to create. So have a little think. Maybe get old Jenny Journal out and have a little write. And just get some thoughts around that. What could you believe? What do you want to believe? And what's to stop you to believe that? Absolutely nothing. Think of your intention. You're doing it for the greater good of you and the greater good of everyone else. The world around us, to create this wonderful planet of ours into such a wonderful place to live in and to be here for so many more generations. And it all starts with one little thing. That's a bit possible. That's possible, isn't it? Don't know. Well, I don't know it's impossible. And if I don't know that, hey, let's go for it. There you go. Just a few little things to think about. We're really going to go into this at a lot more deeper level when we do the longer podcast, because there's going to be a theme around that, because anything is possible. So what would you like to do and create in your life if you just knew that it's possible? Don't know the how. We just need to know the why. We've talked about that before. Why it's important to you. And if you really know why it's important to you, they have that value, you get that motivation to find the way. Because as Tony Robbins said, there's always a way. He knows because he's always found one. Okay? Enjoy every heartbeat because you can. Have more fun than you can stand because you can. And I'll be with you next time because we can. See you now. Hey, here's your usual last minute reminder. Now, time is, very rare, and we need to look after our time. And I know your time is called upon by other things and other people to share their works too. So the next time you're thinking about sharing, if you could just think about this podcast and share it with maybe just 2 or 3 of your closest friends or people who just that would appreciate it. That would be really good, and it would help grow this little niche that we're carving out for ourselves of personal development, unplugged personal development. If you go to iTunes, that would be great if you have the time to subscribe, maybe leave a nice review. That would be even kinder. And one more thing. The one thing I keep banging on about is all the hypnosis and the NLP processes for all the podcasts are now easily to get at paulcloughonline.com/podcasts. No, not podcasts, podcast, singular. And you go there, they're all there for you, and I'm adding to them at least every month. Okay? Do that. You'll have a great time, and they're all downloadable. So they're in one place, they're downloadable, and you can have more fun than you can stand doing it. There's also loads of stuff on paulcloughonline.com. There's Supreme Inner Confidence. It's a lovely program to grow your self-esteem and really have the confidence that I know you have got, but allow it to come to the fore so you can be truly aligned and get the goals and the dreams that you want. There's also Free Your Life from Anxiety. It's a lovely course, I believe it's a lovely course, to let go of anxiety, because no one needs it in the world at all. You don't need the anxiety, you don't need the stress. Learn how to just let it go. And again, that Supreme Inner Confidence, what more do you need? And on that Free Your Life of Anxiety program, the first 5 days are absolutely free. So you can test it, and even, you never know, you might even let go of your anxiety in those first 5 days. People do. Hey, have a look around, have a poke around. There's lots of stuff there, and enjoy. And if you didn't know, you can also get this podcast on Spotify now. Hey, until next time, have more fun than you can stand.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.